Let me ask you something real quick. Have you ever felt like God was taking way too long? Like you're doing everything you're supposed to, praying, waiting, trying to stay patient, but the breakthrough just isn't coming. It can feel frustrating, discouraging, even lonely. I've been there more times than I can count. But let me tell you what I've learned about God's timing. It's not just about the delay, it's about the development that happens during the wait. Today, I just want to talk to you heart to heart about something that has changed the way I see delays and closed doors. This video isn't about perfect or having all the answers. It's about being real. I'm sharing this because I know someone out there needs to hear that waiting doesn't mean forgotten, that delay does not mean denial, and sometimes the wait is a blessing. You know, for a long time, I wrestled with waiting, whether it was for healing, for clarity, for a door to be open, for God to move in a situation. I used to think waiting meant God wasn't listening, like maybe I wasn't praying hard enough or doing enough. And when everyone around me is getting their yes, new jobs, relationships, opportunities, it's easy to feel like you're being overlooked. Like, God, did you skip me? And that question, man, it could mess with your peace. But here's what I started to realize, and this came from some hard seasons. God's not yet is often his yes in disguise. See, we're so focused on getting there to the promise, the next chapter, the answered prayer, that we forget how important the process is. God isn't just concerned with where he's taking you, he's deeply invested in who you're becoming along the way. That delay might be preparing you, protecting you, or building something in you that nothing else could. There was a time I was asking God to open a certain door. I knew it had to be his will. It looked perfect, but he kept saying no, or maybe not no, just silence. And in the silence, I started to grow. I started leaning on him in new ways. I started praying not just for the thing, but for his will. And when the answer finally came, when he finally opened the door, it wasn't the one I expected. It was better. It was aligned with who I'd become, not just who I was when I asked. And I realized that was the blessing, not the thing itself, but the version of me that came out of the waiting room. If you're in that place right now where it feels like God is distant or slow, I just want to remind you, his timing is never off. It may not match your calendar, but it will always match your calling. He's not in a rush because he's not just blessing you with the moment, he's building you for a lifetime. There's purpose in the pause. There's growth in the gap. Don't despise the waiting. Lean into it. Because when you finally walk into what God has for you, you'll see why it couldn't have come a moment sooner. So if that spoke to you, just take a deep breath and know it's okay. You're not behind. You're not forgotten. You're right where you need to be for what God is doing in you. Trust him. He's never late. And if this helped you in any way, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm always dropping content like this. Real conversations, faith-based encouragement, things that'll remind you you're not walking through this life alone. Also, I love if you'd share this video with someone who's been struggling with waiting. Maybe it's a friend, a family member, someone at church, whoever comes to mind. Let's be a community that reminds each other that God's plan is still in motion, even when we can't see it. You're loved, you're seen, and you're right on time in God's eyes. Keep going, and I'll see you on the next video.